who very oftentimes is not going to be from a rich family, and you say, we're going to give you cash money not to lose a game, but to actually win by less than expected. It's actually a perfect storm for corruption.
One of the most notorious recent gambling scandals involves not players, but former NBA referee Tim Donaghy. Donaghy pleads guilty to taking money from a professional gambler in exchange for passing him inside information about NBA teams. Although the FBI and NBA investigate Donaghy and say he didn't fix games, Bell and others are skeptical.
Now, the question among sports bettors and the people here in Vegas is that all he did?
Bell crunches the numbers and finds that of all the games Donaghy referees, 15 have what's called lopsided action. At the last minute, bettors put down an inordinate amount on one team.
In the Donaghy case, during those 15 games, 15 out of 15, the big bettors won. The odds of 15 out of 15 times, if it's a 50% proposition, is over 32,000 to 1, which is statistically a massive number, and it's a great sign that something was going wrong there.
But it's not just the integrity of sports that are called into question.
I think you can beat that hand.
I can beat that one, see? There you go. See, it has a good flop for me. Good.
Todd Wittelis is a professional poker player.
You got a king?
He plays both at card rooms like this one in Las Vegas.
Can't believe nobody sees a flop in this game.
And online. But lately, Wittelis steers clear of some poker websites. His caution stems from an experience in 2007 playing against an opponent who went by the name Gray Cat.
At first, when Gray Cat showed up, I thought this was something great. This was someone who seemed to have no clue what he was doing. He was playing all the wrong strategy to be able to win. And I would make time out of my day to make sure to play with this guy.
Gray Cat looks like an easy mark, but Wittelis soon learns the joke is on him.
I actually played a heads-up match with him, which is when it's just me against him. And in about 20 minutes, he took about $6,000 off of me.
Eager to learn why he lost, Wittelis studies Gray Cat. His opponent dominates every table and often rakes in $50,000 pots. To Wittelis, something doesn't add up.
It was the way he was playing. It was that he always knew what to do. He knew if you had a weak hand, he kept raising you. He knew if he was slightly ahead of you, he'd keep raising you. If you had a huge hand, he's folding instantly. So this guy was always sure. This guy knew everything, and it's just not possible.
2,500 miles away in New York, David Paredes is a top online poker player. In 2007, Paredes is surprised when he starts losing to a player named Neo Neo. Like Gray Cat, Neo Neo seems to play like a rank amateur.
A reasonable winning player plays pretty tight. They don't play many hands. They sort of play very selectively and raise their good hands and play those hands aggressively. This player was playing a wide variety of hands. 3 times as many hands as a normal winning player would play, which is just so hard to do. I mean, it's so hard to show a profit playing so many hands.
Neo Neo quickly cleans out $70,000 from Paredes' online account. A serious student of the game, Paredes enters his hand histories against Neo Neo into Poker Tracker, an analytical tool. The evidence shows that Neo Neo is winning at 10 times the win rate of the very best poker player in the world.
That would be the equivalent of hitting the Powerball jackpot 3 times in a row, which is basically impossible.
Paredes and Wittelis aren't alone. Hundreds of players across the world begin to suspect that people are cheating on AbsolutePoker.com and UltimateBet.com. Cheating is as old as the game itself, as are suspicions of cheating.
Here's the problem. When you're playing online, the question everybody always has for you is, how do you know that it's legitimate? How do you know that you're not being cheated? And the short answer is, you don't.
Absolute Poker and Ultimate Bet are both licensed by the Kahnawake, an Indian tribe near Montreal, Quebec. The sites are owned by a former chief of the tribe, but some of their servers and support staff are based in Costa Rica. The site operates in violation of U.S. law.
There's no legal recourse whatsoever. You sort of have to put your faith in the sites
But that faith has been broken. The players believe that a cheater can somehow see his opponent's cards, an electronic version of a peephole.
We didn't know who was responsible. We didn't know if it was a hacker. We didn't know if it was an inside job. We just knew there was a cheater.
The players joined forces and put pressure on Toquero Enterprises, which owns both Absolute Poker and Ultimate Bet, to get to the bottom of the matter. Toquero hires an outside investigator, and in September of 2009, the Kanawaki Gaming Commission releases a report. In total, $800,000 is stolen on the Absolute Poker site, and $22 million is stolen on Ultimate Bet, according to the Gaming Commission report, making it the biggest cheating scandal in the history of online gambling.
And of course, it wasn't just one player, Neo. It was 100 accounts, all basically linked to the same nucleus of players.
According to the report, almost all of the accounts in the Ultimate Bet scandal are linked to this man, Russell Hamilton, a former World Series of Poker champion and former owner of Ultimate Bet. The Gaming Commission report says that after Ultimate Bet was sold to Toquero Enterprises, Hamilton retained access to software that allowed him to see his opponent's cards.
Which is an enormous unfair advantage in a poker game. The KGC named Russ Hamilton as the main perpetrator of the cheating scandal. Mr. Hamilton is a professional poker player who also had a management role at Ultimate Bet prior to us buying the business.
Through his attorneys, Russ Hamilton declines to talk to CNBC. The Kanawaki Gaming Commission will not say how much, if any, of the $22 million is kept by Russ Hamilton. For now, Hamilton does not face any criminal charges.
There really is not very much opportunity in this world to steal millions and millions of dollars and get away with it, and even if your name gets out, not go to jail. And that's what's happened here.
Make a loose call here.
Toquero Enterprises ultimately refunds more than $22 million to Paredes, Huiteles, and hundreds of others. The lesson learned? Player beware.
The United States needs to finally legalize and regulate online poker, because when they don't, this is what happens.
Up next on CNBC Investigates, the debate over legalizing gambling.
People are going to gamble. And you can pass all the laws you want over here in the Capitol, but you're not going to stop the public from doing what they want to do. Not in America.
Take 374 Virginia Tech.
The professional gambler known as Vegas Runner says sports betting is in his blood.
The first bet I ever made was in 5th grade. It was actually with my gym teacher. We would bet every Monday night game. From there, I fell in love with sports.
Gambling supports his family. He says it doesn't hurt anyone. Yet the wagers he makes with bookies are nonetheless illegal.
The fact that I should have to hide from it or have it be, like it's a dark thing is ridiculous, because it really isn't anymore. Everybody's doing it. No one wants to talk about it. Let's regulate it.
It's an argument that's gaining traction in Washington, where some lawmakers say online betting should be brought out of the shadows.
People gamble in this country no matter what laws we write. The question is whether it's legal and whether it's controlled.
Folks, here we go again.
Congressman Jim McDermott, Democrat from Washington State, is the sponsor of a bill that would regulate and tax online card games.
Accept the fact that people want to gamble. I don't go to Las Vegas. I don't play poker online. I'm not going to do that. But people do. So let's admit that that occurs, and then we will control it through the legislation and the rules and regulations written by the Treasury.
Americans wager about $66 billion online every year. According to McDermott's estimates, if those wagers were taxed, the federal government could collect $40 billion over the next 10 years.
Usually when we talk about